Hey, how's it going? Seth here from RE Tipster. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about Mercury Bank and how easy it is to open up a bank account here. So before we get started, I should just say that this video is not an endorsement or a recommendation of Mercury Bank. There are plenty of banks out there you can work with, and most of them are probably fine. But most of them also like to charge you all kinds of annoying fees each month just for giving them your business. And they also make you visit a branch in person just to open up an account. And Mercury Bank is different in that they don't charge you these fees. For most intents and purposes, it's free across the board to hold an account here. They don't nickel and dime you, and they don't make you visit a branch for any reason because they don't have any physical branches. This bank is entirely online. And, the nice thing is these days, a lot of us don't really need to visit a branch, like ever. It's just not necessary for how our businesses work. And even when it would be helpful, there's really easy alternatives to get the job done, whether that's working with the tools that Mercury makes available or just finding an alternative altogether. And there's a lot of good things to say about Mercury Bank and a few important drawbacks to know about as well. I've actually got a whole other video that gets into all those details if you want to check that out at your leisure. But in this video, I'm just going to highlight how easy it is to get started, even if you're not a US citizen. And even if you have no plans or ability to set foot in the US and visit a local branch here. And this is something that very few other banks in the US will allow you to do. And guess what? At the time of this recording, if you click through the RE Tipster affiliate link below, and if you put $10,000 into your account within the first 90 days of opening up your account, if you have that kind of money ready to go, they'll give you a $200 bonus. And I don't know if this promotion is going to be around forever. So if you're watching this years into the future, this may or may not apply to you. But even if this promotion does go away, I think you'll see with how easy Mercury Bank makes this process, it seems like a pretty decent outfit to work with. Again, not your only option out there. I'm not giving you financial advice. Don't take it that way. I'm just trying to help you understand if you want to work with Mercury Bank, this is what the process looks like to open up your account. And as you'll see, it's pretty quick and simple. It's not hard at all. So I'm actually planning to switch bank accounts right now, and I'm going to show you how easy it is as I walk through these steps with my own bank account. All you got to do to get started is start by entering in your email address. So let's do it. And then we'll click on open an account. And I'm going to be blurring out some of this stuff through the process because it's sensitive information and I don't want to put this on the internet, but it's pretty self-explanatory. You should be able to figure out what to do in your situation if you decide to sign up here. So I'll put in my details here, choose a password, and let's start the application. Okay, so I'm going to put in my company name. Click next. Is your company any of the following? So if you're any of these things, you might have problems getting an account. But again, most of us do not fit into these categories. So I'm going to say none of the above. Patriot Act disclosure. This is just saying that before we can open an account, we have to provide details about ourselves, any controlling shareholders, including name, address, date of birth, and any other documentation that helps Mercury. Okay, so it's fine. Keep going. Okay, so we've got our legal business name, country of incorporation. Now, if you're somebody who is not living in the US and you're not a US citizen, you can still do this. You just want to make sure that you have an entity in the US, or it looks like you could potentially even do it if it's not in the US, but you would need to have an employer identification number. And you don't need to be a US citizen to get an EIN, but you do need to have an ITIN, which is basically like a social security number for those who are not US citizens. And there's a separate video I can point you to if you need help getting that. But just be aware that step needs to be complete before you can get here. So I'm going to put my employer identification number in here, and this is something that I got from the IRS. If you just started your LLC and you don't have it yet, it's super easy to get this. I have a video explaining how to get your EIN. You may have already even seen that by the time you're watching this, but in case you didn't, I'll include a link to that beneath this video as well. So when you get your EIN from the IRS, it's going to come on a form that looks something like this. So I'm going to copy it and then paste that right here. And then company website is optional. I do have a website, but I just don't feel like putting that here. So I'm going to leave it blank. Company type. So this is a LLC. And industry, we're going to say real estate. And we'll select the investing subcategory. And then tell us about what your company does. So put together a quick explanation of what your company does. So my company is a real estate investment company specializing in wholesaling vacant land properties throughout the United States. not rocket science. Just think of whatever it is your company does, put that here and move on. And then major investors. So that doesn't really apply here. It's just me. And then my company is involved in cryptocurrency. It's a hard no on that. I don't deal with cryptocurrency at all. So I'm going to leave that blank. Go next. So company contact. So I'm going to put my mailing address. And this is the same address that would go on the return address for all of my, direct mail pieces I send out, or any correspondence that goes through my business is right here. This is not my home address. Some people might use their home address as their business mailing address, but I do not. I have a rented mailbox. So I'm putting that address here, and I got my phone number here. That's my phone number that I have through my cloud-based online phone service. I've got another video explaining how I have that all set up. If you want to check it out, go ahead and click next. Okay, so company owners. In my case, there's only one company owner. That's me. So I'm just putting my first and last name here along with the email address, which I already filled in. For job title, let's go with founder. And then ownership percentage, say 100%. And then down here it says, I certify that I've listed all co-founders, owners with at least 25% stake in my company and anyone with control over my company's finances. So again, that's pretty simple because it's just me. Click continue. Now it says, we need some info about you. This includes verification with a live photo and a form of ID. Please fill this out or copy the form link to complete on another device. So that's no problem. I'm curious though what happens if I click next here, if it's going to take me to that same step. Okay, so it's asking for our articles of organization. Because this is an LLC, that's what we're going to have to upload. That's basically when we formed the LLC. That's like the paperwork from the state where the LLC is registered. It's pretty simple, straightforward. This is like a publicly available document. You can look it up on pretty much any company out there in most states. And this is just to verify that this is a legitimate company and it exists and all that. And then EIN documents. So that's going to be this exact same form I just showed you a minute ago where I got the number from. We're going to upload that as well just to show that it's legit. So we will drag and drop the EIN documents here. And then we will grab the articles of organization and drop that here as well. And click next. Oh, and then it says, good news, we've auto-verified your EIN, so you don't need to upload your EIN document. I guess that was overkill, but whatever. So we'll click next. It says, could you share documentation like recent bank statements, mortgage pre-approvals, property deeds, or signed leases supporting your investment funding and or properties in the U.S. that you currently own? Okay, so I can upload a deed here. That's no problem. I'll grab one of those things. Okay, so I got a deed right here. I will drop that there. And keep in mind, if this is a brand new entity that you just formed like today or yesterday, and you just simply don't have any of these documents, you can just check the box that says, I don't have this document. They may ask you some other questions or verify your company through some other means, but it's not like you have to have this stuff in order to create this bank account. Just check the box and move on. And it says, please share any other professional online profile links, articles, or announcements that could help verify your company's owners. So maybe this would be a good place to put my website URL. Let's see, articles, announcements. I don't know what exactly they're getting at with that. I'm just going to put my main primary website. Hopefully that'll be enough. And how do you usually receive payments, and what other types of transactions do you expect to flow through this account? So I'll say all payments are usually received through a title company via bank wire or cashier's check. So hopefully that'll work. Then please go back and check the following sections. Company contacts. So phone number must start with a plus. Okay, we'll put plus there. There you go. Next, it looks like I do still need to fill this stuff out about myself personally. We'll go ahead and do this. So citizenship status. It's pretty easy for me. However, if I were to say non-resident, something like that, it doesn't kick me out of the system. It doesn't say no. I just have to keep going through and answering the questions it asks. You can see it's not asking me for a social security number because if I were a non-resident, I wouldn't have one. But anyway, let's just go through the process as a U.S. citizen. So I'll put this in here. And then date of birth. Personal number is the same as business number. No, that's not right. So I'll put my personal number here. Then home address. So this is the house where I actually live. So I'll put that in here too. And then verify identity. Terms and consent. Burbix is helping verify your identity and prevent fraud. Click I agree. Okay, so let's click agree. Let's see what happens next. Okay, use your phone. Enter your phone number below and we'll text you a link that you can use to finish scanning your ID. So I will let them send me a text to my personal phone number. Then we've sent a link via text to that number. Click on the link to use your phone to scan your ID. Okay, so it looks like I'm gonna have to take out my driver's license. So I'm opening up my wallet here, getting the driver's license out, putting it right here on my desk. I'm gonna take my phone, open up that link, And it's showing me the exact same thing I just showed you a second ago, where I have to agree to the terms and consent. So I'm going to agree to that. And actually, I'm just going to record my phone screen so you can see exactly what I'm seeing. So it says, what country issued your ID? The United States. And then let's see here, scan ID. So I'm going to scan my driver's license. So I'm going to open up my camera. I'm allowed to access my camera. I'll bring it down here, get that thing in there, and then take the photo. There we go. And then submit photo. Okay, now scan this barcode on the back of your driver's license or ID card. Okay, we'll try that. Use my camera, flip my thing over, and there it is. I think I got it. There we go. Okay, now start selfie scan. We have to center our face in the circle, keep your eyes on the screen, turn your head slightly to the left, turn it slightly to the right. Okay, we'll try this. Okay, I'm gonna put myself right here. Okay. Cool. All right, so I guess we're done on my phone. Shut this down and we will go back to the computer. So political exposure. Have you or any persons associated with you ever held political office in a foreign country? No. Social profiles. Speed up your application review by providing a link to your Twitter, LinkedIn, Upwork, or other social profile. So I have plenty of these things, but depending on who is watching this and going through this process, you may or may not be on social media. So I'm just going to not do this and see how well they can do without that information. And let's see here. We will click next. Follow-up questions. Looks like we got checks by all these things. So let's review our application and we can see everything I've submitted so far. See about the owners. All right, all looks good. Keep going. Legal agreements. The bank services are provided by one of our partner banks. Your initial account will be set up through our banking partner, Choice Financial Group, member FDIC. So this is actually an interesting thing to point out. When you're signing up for a Mercury Bank account, you are actually doing it through Choice Financial Group. Mercury Bank is just like the online platform, like the facade and the face in the dashboard and the user interface that you're working through. But essentially where your money is going is to Choice Financial Group, which is backed by the FDIC. So that money is insured and you can feel safe knowing that. Again, I explained a lot more of these details in the other video talking more about Mercury Bank and the pros and cons if you want to check that out. So go ahead and say agree and submit application. And there we go. Now it says to get a head start while we review your application, let's start setting up your account. So I can schedule my first deposit to Mercury, can connect your existing bank account to schedule your first transfer, expedite your application review process, instant access to cards and payments post-approval. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. Just in case you want to do it as well, you can follow along. I'm going to click connect account. And it says Mercury uses Plaid to connect your account. Connect effortlessly. Your data belongs to you. So we'll say continue. And my current bank is Chase Bank. By the way, aside from the little annoying fees and that kind of thing, I have nothing against Chase. It's actually been a really good bank. But I'm hopeful Mercury is going to be a little bit better. Go ahead and log into my Chase Bank account. Go ahead and log in here. Okay, so how to connect with Mercury. By connecting with Mercury, you'll also be giving access to Plaid, the service Mercury uses to collect data. I'm going to click next. What Mercury wants to know is the account numbers and the account names and the balances, transactions, and rewards and contact info. That's all fine, makes sense. So what do you want to share? I'm going to just say choose all accounts because I basically want to recreate what I have on Chase over there with Mercury. So almost like a copy and paste, just moving it to another bank and include new eligible accounts automatically. Sure, let's go ahead and do that. So we'll say connect my accounts. Now it says select account. Plaid will only share data from the Chase account you select with Mercury. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do that. Now it says success. Your account has been successfully linked to Mercury. There we go. Now it says schedule your first deposit to Mercury. So I want to get that free $200. So let's go ahead and bring 10,000 over there. Oh, looks like you can only schedule transfers of up to 2,500, but you may be able to transfer a larger amount once you're approved. So it looks like because I'm not approved yet, I can't bring that whole 10,000 over yet. So it's fine. We'll just do what we can and we will schedule that transfer. Then we'll click next and then add your admins. There you go. So it's just going to be me. Click next and then set up cards. So we're going to have a business debit card. We can set up a virtual debit card and also have them send me a physical debit card too. And it looks like the card will arrive in 5 to 7 business days. Everything looks good there. Shows me what my card's going to look like. So let's scroll down and click next and then enable 2-factor authentication. So to begin, you'll need an authenticator app on your phone. So I actually use this for a number of other things. I use the Google Authenticator app. So I'm going to go ahead and use that. Open that thing up. and scan this QR code. There we go. It just added it. Put the number in here that it's given me from the app, and that's all set. Go ahead and click next. And it says your account selections have been saved. We're still reviewing your application and we'll get back to you soon. All right. Sounds good to me. So let's click next here, see what else there is to do, if anything. Oh, already did all that. It looks like I've done all I can do at this point, so I have to wait 2 to 4 days. So I'll go ahead and push pause on this, and I'll pick it back up once it's approved, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so it's been a few hours, and I got this email later in the day, so it looks like there's a few additional questions I have to answer in the application. So let's click on this, figure out what else they need. So this says, you're all set. We need to get to know you better. We need to know a little more about your company to finish reviewing your application. Okay, let's see what else they want to know. So we're unable to accept, I gotcha, PO boxes, registered agent addresses. Please provide a business or residential address, either US based or international. So I actually do remember having this exact same thing at Chase Bank, where they were not able to use my rented mailbox as the address. I was still able to put that address on my checks and everything. So like to the world, they all saw that address, but as far as Chase Bank was concerned, they needed to have a real like physical location. So if you're somebody who is paying for a rented office space, you could put that here. But if you're like me, where you have a rented mailbox or a PO box or something like that, you would have to put in an actual legitimate physical address. I'm gonna just put my home address in here. There we go. We'll click submit. There we go. So your Mercury account is on its way. We'll pick this back up once I get approved. Okay, so it's been about 24 hours and I got 4 emails here in my inbox. So let's check them out. First of all, it looks like my new debit card is on its way. That's cool. So congratulations, Seth, your new account has been approved. If you haven't already, you'll need to fund your account to get started. So if you remember, I already tried to start this process. Looks like in this other email, it looks like they got it. So I'm going to click on this. Let's get into my account. Alrighty. So it looks like this is my new checking account number. Why don't we go ahead and just wire even more money here just to get that thing to 10,000 so we can get our 200 bucks. Looks like we can do this through a bank transfer from Chase Bank. That's already all hooked up and good to go. And looking at my Chase Bank account, it looks like that money has been sent because it's not there anymore. And I can see that little debit right there. So let's go ahead and do the other $7,500. And we'll transfer this to the Mercury Bank checking account and click transfer. All right, you've made a transfer from Chase to the checking account of Mercury. 7,500 bucks should arrive within 3 to 5 business days. Cool. So let's go to the dashboard and let's just check this out. Let's see how well this is designed and laid out. So it looks pretty clean. Money out in the last 30 days, nothing, because it's brand new. That makes sense. Go to transactions. So this shows all the transaction history, payments, payment requests, payment recipients. Nothing going on there yet. Wire drawdowns, nothing happening there yet. Let's go to cards. So we can see I've got a virtual card and a physical card. It looks like they have 2 different card numbers. And I'm assuming those are both debit cards. Go here to capital. So looks like this is ways that we can get financing through Mercury, depending on what we need. If we need it for inventory or advertising or acquisitions, research and development or payroll. And I'm not really looking for loans at this point, but I guess it's just good to be aware of if that's something you are looking for. There may be some options for you depending on your business and what you need it for. Accounts. So this is just kind of an overview of the accounts we've got so far. We've got a checking and savings account with Mercury, and we can see our account number. If I click this, it'll show me the full number. I'm going to blur that out, obviously. We can see the account number and routing number. So if we did have a checkbook, these are the 2 numbers that would be on there. Now let's see if we wanted to pay somebody, how we would do that. The linked accounts looks like that's my Chase account there. Auto transfer rules. Okay, cool. So it looks like this is where you can set up automatic transfers that might happen like on a monthly basis. Say if you wanted to move money from one account to another on autopilot just without you even doing anything. Let's see here. Add a rule. So maintain a target balance. So say if you wanted to keep a certain balance in a certain account at all times, you could set this up to move money to and from another account, or keep a 0 balance. Looks like you can move all incoming funds from one account to another automatically to maintain a 0 balance, or distribute by percentage. Distribute the funds of one account into multiple accounts by a percentage. So this would actually be very helpful. Say if you're trying to do like the profit first model and, you know, however much money comes into your account each month, you want a percentage of that to go to savings or giving or fill in the blank, whatever else you want to designate that money to. Looks like you could do that pretty easily. So let's check that out. Let's see just how that works. So distribute the funds of, say my checking account, and let's go 25% over to savings account. And we can do this on a per transaction basis or daily at 11 a.m. or twice a month on the 1st and 15th. And it looks like you can also connect another account. And currently we have no other accounts. So that begs the question, how do you set up other accounts? How easy is that to do? So let's go here to Mercury accounts, add a checking account. Let's try this. So we'll call this our profit account. There we go. And it looks like it is processing. So I can tell you, having just come from Chase Bank, in order to do what I just did there, I had to physically visit a branch, fill out a ton of paperwork, jump through all kinds of hoops. The banker questioned why I was doing this. They didn't understand it. I had to explain it to them. They didn't get it. Spent at least a couple hours all in to create a few accounts like this. I just did it here in Mercury Bank in, you saw what that was, a few seconds. Now, I don't know how long this is going to take to process and if there's any other red tape to get this thing set up, but from the looks of it so far, it's pretty darn easy to set up new accounts. And then also, as we saw from that automation rule that we just set up, once this account does exist, it's very easy to make my checking account, which will be the account that everything hits first, make that disperse money automatically to these other accounts in whatever intervals or percentages I see fit. So I just hit the pause button because I was curious how long it was going to take to set up this new profit account. And I'm back here less than an hour later and the profit account is approved and all set up. So there was no other red tape. It was very easy. It's like literally clicking buttons and the account is there. So super easy. Easiest thing I've ever seen in terms of setting up new accounts within a bank account. And of course, now that this exists, it's super easy to set up these auto transfer rules like I just showed you a second ago. Now, a few of the things I want to show you just so you kind of understand, how do we pay people? How do we get paid? How do we move money around? That kind of thing. Actually, one other thing I should point out, I don't have a credit card set up yet in this bank account, but I can do that very easily right here. So if you want a credit card, there you go. Super easy to get started with that. But let's say you want to request money to have somebody pay you or pay someone else. So you could go over here to the left sidebar and do it that way. Or there's also this thing up here at the top of the dashboard, pretty much anywhere you are in the site, that says move money. And first option is to pay someone. So the way you start this out is by adding a new recipient. So let's say I want to pay myself. Go ahead and add Seth Williams here, and you can put all their information right there. Let's say this is a person, put their email address and nickname in there if we want to, but we don't have to. We can put all this info right here. And once that's all set, we can go here and click next. And for the amount in source, so there's a few different ways we can do this. If I have that person's ACH information, which they could give this to me if they just voided out a check and scanned it over to me, or if they had a page with wiring instructions, they could do it that way, or they could just tell me over the phone what the numbers are. It's up to them. And that's super easy. It's just the two numbers that are on any check can go right there, the routing number and the account number, or we can actually mail them a check. So remember, with Mercury Bank, at this point anyway, you can't get a physical checkbook that you can just have in your pocket and write checks to people, but you can write a check from the website, in which case it will mail from their check processor within 7 to 10 business days. So that's an option too. Or you can do a wire if you have, again, the routing number and the account number, and there's no fee for this. That's really important. I know with Chase Bank, I had to pay $40 every time I wanted to send a wire to anyone, which was super annoying. It just felt kind of ridiculous. Mercury doesn't play that game. It's free. And then you can also do this international wire. Looks like if you send it in US dollars, it's free to do that. However, if I was going to send it to them in their dollars, looks like there might be some kind of a fee there, but kind of get the idea on that. So that's how you pay people. And another way you can pay people is just using your business debit card too. You just have to go to this section, click on this. You can see all of your business debit card information. If you use the virtual one, or if you get this physical one sent to you, you can use that one too. So that's how you pay people. It's a lot of ways to do it, even if you don't have a checkbook. And then in terms of receiving money, we can do this thing called payment request. And this is where we put in the information for that person. So let's put myself in here again. This time we have to include an email address because this is how the request is being made. And we can put the amount in here. We'll say $1,000. And the due date, it's going to go out 30 days automatically, but you can change that if you want. And then the company name to show in the payment request. And then you can also dictate where you want the money to go, which account within your Mercury Bank account once you receive it. So I'm going to have it go into checking. And then if you wanted to put additional notes on there, you could do that. If you wanted to attach like an actual PDF invoice or something like that, you could do that too. And then let's go ahead and review it, and let's send it to myself, and we'll see what happens here. So when we have this box checked, it's going to send an email to that person, and you can also create a payment link. So let's create that payment link. Now we've got it right here. You can just click it to copy, or you can download a PDF if you wanted to like attach it to an email and send it to somebody. And this is what that PDF looks like. It's pretty basic and it's 3 pages long. That's page 1. That's page 2. It's got all of our wiring information on there, and page 3. So basically what it's telling people is wire this money to us. And here's how you do it. Here's our account number and our ABA routing number. So that would be one way. Or if you sent them that link, this is what they would see. And then when that person's looking at this on their computer or phone, they have the option to either do this stuff right here, which they could copy into their own bank's system to complete that wire, or if it's an international wire, it would have all that information as well. The beneficiary name, account number, address, all the stuff that they would need to do that if they were outside of the country. Or they could pay with Mercury. If they have a Mercury bank account, they can just log in, do it that way. I don't know how often you'll come across people who also have a Mercury bank account, but that would make it super easy too. And then if we want to check out what that email looked like that it sent them automatically, this is what that email would look like. And they can click on this to view the payment request, and they would see pretty much the same thing that I just showed you with that link that we copied. So there you go. That's the overview of Mercury Bank. If this looks like a good fit for you, you can sign up through the RE Tipster affiliate link and get that $200 bonus if you decide to put in 10 grand within the first 90 days. Just go through retipster.com/Mercury. You know, as you can see, it's super easy to use. The online interface is about the best one I've ever seen from any bank, and I've worked with a number of them. So super impressed with that. I haven't even gotten into the mobile app yet, but if it's anything like what we're seeing here, and I'm sure it probably is, it's a breeze to use. I'm sure you could probably do a lot of what you need to do without even getting on your computer. Just do it all from your phone. Again, retipster.com/Mercury is our affiliate link. Thanks again for checking this out. I hope you found it helpful. Even if you decide to go somewhere else, at least you'll know what you're walking away from if you decide not to use Mercury. If you want to check out the other video where I talk about a lot more of the pros and cons of using Mercury Bank, I'll have that link beneath this video as well in case you haven't already seen that. Thanks again for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.